Hello guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over the biggest signings of day one of NHL free agency. We're going to be going over Brodie, Krug, Markstrom, Holtby, and a little bit of other stuff as well. But even though there was a little bit of a bore fest in free agency today, there was a lot of big signings spread apart, and especially later this day as well that I didn't want to cover in one video. But the four main ones was Brodie, Krug, Markstrom, and Holtby. We're going to be going over those contracts in depth as well. So at least for those four contracts, are there overpayments? Are there underpayments? What do I think of these deals, and how do I see these players performing on their respective teams? For Brodie for the Leafs, Krug for the Blues, Markstrom for the Flames, and Holtby of the Canucks, which is very weird. Hit that subscribe button for all my predictions and all my thoughts, and of course, make sure you hit that like button for more videos just like this one. Now we're gonna start today's video with the Torey Krug contract, and this was announced just a few minutes ago, so I thought, hey, we might as well get my raw reactions from it. And to be honest, I'm not sure. Torey Krug gets signed to a 7-year deal in St. Louis for $6.5 million. Now, one of the things I think this does indicate is that Alex Pietrangelo is likely gone unless the Blues make some really big cap moves. I don't know if they'll be able to get both of them at the same time. It would be shocking. Honestly, though, Torey Krug just going to St. Louis by itself is pretty shocking. It's kind of gonna be weird, but I can envision him in a Blues jersey quite well. I think he will do well there, especially on the power play, be that #1 guy. The thing that kind of concerns me a little bit is that they really didn't need another offensive D man, because I think Falk, especially on the power play, does do the job fine. And I think the worry at least comes into contract a little bit. 7 years and $6.5 million, the longest term contract we've seen thus far. I thought Torey Krug was going to get that done. I mean, whether it be for Detroit or a team like St. Louis, I thought he was going to look for that long-term 7-year deal, and that was what was reported, and that is what is happening right here. $6.5 million is a little bit too much for me too. I think he can be a valuable guy for St. Louis, but this is a risky bet to make, especially if he can't stay healthy. We'll see what happens, but I do think, just on paper, he does work for St. Louis, even if it is quite a bit of money. Then going on to our next defensive signing in TJ Brodie to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I was going to make a dedicated video to this, but I thought with the Torey Krug signing, I might as well wrap it into one. With Torey, or TJ Brodie at least, I think this is an excellent signing for the Toronto Maple Leafs, though the contract itself can be a little worrying. I think on paper, TJ Brodie is a great fit for them. Left-handed defenseman who plays on the right side, I think is the perfect partner for Morgan Rielly. I mean, TJ Brodie has experience in that, being Mark Giordano's partner, and I think he can do the same with Morgan Rielly and do quite well. This past season, at least both in eye test and analytics, most of it points towards TJ Brodie having one of his best defensive years he's ever had, and to me, the best defensive years I've ever had too. At least from what I was watching in Calgary this past season, I was super impressed with him just overall, and I think that's a guy that if he continues that type of momentum into Toronto next season, could be a saving grace on that right side of the defense, which is what they needed. Now, it was reported that they were going to trade to make or trade for a right defenseman just like earlier this morning, but I guess that's not happening. 4 years at $5 million. This contract also includes a no-move clause, which is a little bit frightening. He will have to be protected in the expansion draft for Seattle, so I'm not sure what to make of that, but I do think the player on paper works for Toronto, and I think it's a pretty solid deal, even though I don't know. I think it's solid, but the new no movement clause kind of hurts just a little bit. Then going on to our next two signings, both of them goaltenders. First one being Jacob Markstrom, 6-year deal, $6 million, also featuring a no movement clause, and he will be going to the Calgary Flames. Now, him going to the Calgary Flames, not too surprising, but we also heard that Edmonton was in on him and that Vancouver was out of the race. So it was between Edmonton and Calgary, and then apparently Edmonton was out of the race, and that just left the Calgary Flames. And it was also apparent that, and it was also rumored that Markstrom wanted the 7th year, Calgary wouldn't budge. They would give him the 6th year, and they do get a deal done. It is 6 by 6, but it is 6 years. I think it takes him until he's 36. Not too old, but once you're paying a goaltender $6 million at 36, it kind of starts to wear on you. But at the same time here, I mean, we can talk about the contract, we can talk about the money, even the term. But for the Calgary Flames, this is an amazing ad, especially for the next few seasons. If Markstrom can stay healthy, and if he plays close to how he played in Vancouver this past season, I think he's going to be a great starter for the Calgary Flames and a starter that they badly need. I think David Rich was fine when he was the starter for their stint, but Markstrom is a guy that can be a bona fide starter and can lead that team to the playoffs. So for the Calgary Flames, if he does end up working out, I would not be too surprised. And I don't think it's a bad bet to make either. Even though Markstrom is on the older side of things, he, I think, is in his prime. And I think the Calgary Flames, not a bad job in getting him done. Even though I think there are maybe some better goaltenders out there for maybe a better price. Maybe a Darcy Kemper would have cost less. Hey, it's a free agent signing, not a trade. So they get it done, and they get their new starter in Calgary. Then going on to the last big trade I'll mention today, being Braden Holtby. He goes to the Vancouver Canucks for 2 years, $4.3 million. No movement clause on that as far as I can tell, so he might be Seattle trade bait at that point. But I do like this trade, or not trade, I do like this signing a lot for the Canucks. Braden Holtby's a guy that hasn't had the greatest couple of seasons ever since that 2018 Cup when it's been really average, but I do think in Vancouver he has the potential to rebound. Not because of his defense, but it's a change of scenery, and I think that can go a long way, especially for goaltenders. A lot of it is mental, and I think being in front of a team like Vancouver that has so much great youth and so much potential will do Holtby a lot of good. I think that's a team, though, that could definitely use a guy like that, and it's a lot less money than Markstrom, a lot less of a commitment to 2 years, but a strong, valuable leader who's won the Cup before. I think could be a mentor to obviously Thatcher Demko there, and it's perfect length too. I mean, you got 2 years. Right after that, you're probably looking at that second year of Demko taking the starter nets, but it won't be too much of a problem at that point. You can just put him into free agency afterwards. I think this is a perfect deal for both sides, and hey, maybe Holtby, if he plays good enough, could lead the Canucks to the Stanley Cup eventually. We'll see what happens, but I do like this contract a lot for Vancouver. Now, there were a few other signings that I can get into, Jack Johnson most notably, but that'll be for another time, don't you worry. But if you're still watching, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know down in the chat. I'm still in stream mode. Let me know down in the comments down below. What do you think of these signings? I mean, for each and every single one, let me know how you feel. Do you think it's good for the player? Do you think it's not? Let me get into the specifics, but, you know, let me know what you guys think. And let me know what you think on free agency so far. I mean, I've kind of had an interesting time with it. I was expecting it to be a lot more crazy in day one, but we'll see what happens. But still, a lot of interesting signings coming up. But thanks so much for watching the channel just over the last few months. It's been an absolutely amazing ride, and I can't thank you guys enough for being a part of the ride. So make sure you share this video with your friends, get it out there, and click this card for all my NHL trades, signings, news, all in one playlist. My name is Nathan. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video or stream. Goodbye.